Welcome to Dave C, straight from the pit. Dave C here. Thought for today's show, we could talk about 1988 Budo. And he's the G.I. Joe team's samurai warrior, which is kind of maybe a far-fetched figure, and sort of a forgotten G.I. Joe for the year 1988. And I remember a few years back when I started, well, more than a few years now, I guess 5 years ago now, when I started watching more G.I. Joe on YouTube, and there were all the content creators, various different ones that I got into, and I got into the habit of watching their shows. Some of them I've stopped watching, some of them retired or just simply moved on from G.I. Joe. But I recall back then that there was one guy, and he would always ask the content creators to do a review on Budo. And it sort of became a bit of a running joke among some of the content creators that, they made fun of the fact that somebody wanted a review on Budo. And I always wanted to do one simply because it seemed like there was no justice there back then. Like the guy who was asking to get his Budo review, because that's his favorite figure, and we all have favorite figures, so we're all entitled to whoever we love as far as the G.I. Joe character goes. He didn't get his cake, so I'm like, okay. I kind of sucked for him, and finally I'm happy to get Budo. So I thought today, we could do a review on Budo. So if you're out there watching, whoever you are, I forget what your call lettering was, because that was probably maybe 3 or 4 years ago now. But Dave C, straight from the pit, is going to do a review just for you. So here we go. So here's the card art, and as you can see, it's got 1986 to 1989 G.I. Joe lettering, or font, and obviously it's different from the 82 to 85, which looked more like this lettering. It kind of went to that more 3D type look around that time, of course, as you guys know. And it's got the old Kmart sticker on it, price tag. And this is a Canadian release, because you can see there it doesn't have a real American hero underneath the G.I. Joe. Up here they just had it blank there with no lettering. But anyway, yeah, there's the Kmart price tag, and it's $3.72 Canadian. And I kind of enjoy having the old price tags on there, because then you can see what this stuff was retailed at back then. And it's pretty great art, as all the 80s G.I. Joe art on the cards and boxes go. It clearly did a good job showing this guy that he's a samurai warrior, which again is a bit of a we thought a bit of a stretch back then as kids. I'm pretty sure most of us. By that time we had a lot of ninjas and different martial arts type G.I. Joe guys, like Quick Kick and Storm Shadow Snake Eyes, those type of guys. So when they added another one and called him a samurai, I don't know. I don't think it went over too well, but now looking at this guy, he's pretty cool, and totally part of the family for 1988. So definitely deserves to be looked at. And you can see there it says Budo, Samurai Warrior, which the paper there is a bit ripped from the bubble being torn off way back in 1988. And we can flip him around now and take a look at his card back. So here we have all the 1988 guys on the back, and 87, as you can see down there on the bottom. And it says Modern Army Action Figures, G.I. Joe. And see if we can find Budo there. There he is there. He's beside Law and Order. So he's the last of the 1988 guys depicted on the back of this card art here. Right beside Law and Order, like I said. And yeah, looks pretty cool. Just really love these card backs. Of course, we'll never forget these. Us Gen X or 80s kids. These were very, very popular and will be burned into our minds forever, I think. And we can look at his file card now. It says codename Budo, Samurai Warrior. File name, Kyle Gesso. Primary military specialty, infantry. Secondary military specialty, hand-to-hand combat instructor. Birthplace, Sacramento, California. Grade, E5. The man has a 5th degree black belt in Lado, a similar rank in 3 other martial arts. He could have even higher rankings if he didn't spend so much time working on his chopped, panhead Harley and listening to heavy metal. Here he is in the 1988 catalog brochure that Joe Hunter 73 has gone through all of these now on his channel, and I've watched those recently, and those are pretty good to look at because we all love these old catalogs. But like I was saying, here is Budo, and it says Budo Samurai Warrior. And in Bellamo's book, we have a nice write-up, as always, for this character. It says Budo Samurai Warrior includes samurai headgear, crimson sword, ornament sword, sai pack. And some interesting things that I read is that he had an alternate code name. It would have been Katana, which is a Japanese sword, like a samurai sword. And his name Budo, it comes from 2 meanings. Bu in Japanese means martial artist, and Do means path to enlightenment. So those are interesting facts. I like that they went with the name Budo because of that reason. Kind of has like 2 meanings in one. And yeah, we can look at the figure now a little bit closer. And here he is here. He's got like a sword vest, meaning most likely very resistant to getting stabbed in sword fights or sword battles or any kind of martial arts environment where there's edged weapons being slung around all over the place, like in our 80s movies. But yeah, I like that look because it's kind of bang on to a samurai from what we think of a samurai anyway, over here in North America. And yeah, I like the gray and the kind of the padding looks like on the pants. And there are his weapons, as written in Bellamo's book. You've got his helmet there and the katana sword, a sai and the sai pack. And another sword goes on his waist there, which is pretty cool. And I like on his arms how he has that armor. So when he holds the swords and gets in a sword fight, his hand would be protected. And pretty cool face sculpt. Looks Japanese. And has kind of a mohawk, which is kind of interesting for the head sculpt. Character first appears in G.I. Joe's Marvel number 82, which is a January 1989 issue, shown here. Cover's got a Viper sneaking up behind Repeater, a 1988 G.I. Joe. And this is a really fun issue. It starts out with Duke weeding out, as the title is called. But he definitely does that. He weeds out some new G.I. Joe recruits. So it kind of shows their training to become a G.I. Joe. These are all new Joes. And it's kind of funny because it shows how they go through these guys and they treat them like dogs, just like the old Army Marines or what have you. And some of the new Joes like Lightfoot and Budo are involved in this, and a bunch of other Joes that simply don't make it. And it's kind of funny because they have their names, their code names written on their shirts with these white shirts, as you can see there. Blister is one guy, but that's a guy who never made it. So, but yeah, they all have these names. So obviously we know the guys who make it, because later on they became GI Joes and we were able to buy them. Let's see, there's a guy there named Bad News, but obviously he didn't make the cut with Duke. And yeah, just interesting to see the army humor here, that Larry Hama, obviously being a veteran himself, he was put through the ringer as well, so he's showing just how big of a bastard Duke can be to these guys. And this one's funny. They make them rewatch safety videos, and that's kind of a punishment for them. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, at the end of it, there's a big fight, and like a training fight. You can see them all fighting. There's Budo there. All trying to make the G.I. Joe team. And Duke says, and the winners are Lightfoot, Repeater, and Budo. So that's the first real page where we see Budo. He's all got the crap beat out of him from the training. And then CoverGirl picks him up, and they're all exhausted and worn out, as you can see. Then they go to the mess hall, and they're starving. You can see them there chomping down all this food. And then later on, they're in a mission, the first mission that Budo takes part in. And there he is there. But I don't want to spoil this one for you, like I always say. Even though this is a 30-year-old or more or whatever comic book that you had many opportunities to read. And it's kind of funny how I even say that, because it's such an old book. But anyone who picks this up and reads it, I don't want to spoil it for them, because these are just excellent books. And I'm always so happy to have these books. And I still read the new Larry Hama books. I recently got the last 2 issues. 322 here. It's a snow one, which is cool, because it's wintertime now, of course, the snow. And then a silent issue remake, or rather like a newer version of that, with Snake Eyes. But I haven't read them yet, and maybe I'll do a bit of a review on those ones coming up. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and looking forward to doing many, many more. Took quite a break there, and I had to. You guys probably know why, because of different things going on with me as far as that stuff goes. And I got to look after it, so sometimes I'm just not around. And I wasn't around for a bit, and I had to get my shit together. And also a lot of wacky stuff going on with the Canadian government right now that is not helping anyone's head mentally, making up existential crises, this Prime Minister says. And he's pretty much just trying to fear bait Canadians into accepting poverty and trying to create hate for the Americans, which shouldn't be happening. So, of course, the Americans, you guys, most of you, you don't even know anything about us anyway, and you don't care, because we're fucking tiny and we don't really mean anything. So, but yeah, he's being a real dick, and he's making us struggle financially, and it's kind of sad. And he's also taking some hardline communist type approaches with different laws, and it's not very cool. But anyway, back to G.I. Joe, we'll say. And we'll see you next time. And Christmas was yesterday, and I didn't do a Christmas video just because I didn't really feel like it this year. But anyway, Merry Christmas. Not Happy Holidays. Definitely Merry Christmas, because that's what it's about. And we'll see you next time in the coming videos. Okay, until the next one, Yo Joe.